The laughter was almost too perfect. Balloon animals twisted in bright colors, the scent of vanilla and whipped cream clung to the air, and the backyard was filled with music from the twins' favorite cartoon, a tune so cheerful it bordered on annoying. 11 candles flickered on the cake, dancing in the breeze as 2 pairs of sparkling eyes leaned in close. "Make a wish," someone shouted. Maya and Leo glanced at each other with a conspiratorial smile, one that only twins could share, then inhaled deeply. But the candles didn't go out. They blew again. Harder. The flames flickered, but stayed alive. People chuckled. Someone said, "Maybe you need a third wish." The mother, Alina, stepped in, laughing. "Here, let me help." Her long auburn hair glowed in the sun as she leaned forward. That's when it started. Leo clutched his chest first. A soft gasp escaped his mouth, eyes widening as if he'd seen something no one else could. He collapsed to his knees. Maya screamed. Then choked. Alina turned toward her children, and staggered. Her laughter twisted into a gurgle. She tried to speak, but blood trickled from her lips as her legs gave out beneath her. 3 bodies hit the ground within seconds. The guests froze. For a moment, there was only the sound of the cartoon playing in the background. A character giggled on screen, the wrong kind of sound at the worst possible time. Then chaos. Screams erupted. Someone called an ambulance. A neighbor tried CPR. A woman fainted. But it was already too late. By the time the paramedics arrived, Maya, Leo, and Alina were declared dead. Cause of death? Unknown. The funeral came quickly. Too quickly. 3 caskets, joined into one. As if fate had decided they couldn't be separated, not even in death. Rain fell in thin, icy threads as mourners gathered in black. No one had words. Some spoke in whispers, maybe it was poison. A heart condition. She looked so tired the last few weeks. Others shook their heads, refusing to believe any of it made sense. A few people mentioned Alina's ex-husband, who hadn't shown up. A few more mentioned her brother, who had. And at least one person swore they saw Maya's fingers twitch before the lid closed. But no one dared say that out loud. That night, hours after the last handful of dirt was tossed onto the grave, something happened inside the coffin. It was subtle at first. A breath. Faint. Almost silent. Then a movement, small, but deliberate. Fingers scraped against wood. Eyes opened. And in the suffocating darkness, a voice, hoarse, but real, whispered. Where are we? The air was thick. Too thick. Her lungs screamed for more, but all she got was dust. Wet, suffocating, bitter dust. Something pressed against her chest, a weight that didn't belong, like the sky itself had collapsed. Maya tried to scream, but her mouth filled with dirt. Panic surged through her like electricity. Her fists slammed against the inside of the coffin, no sound escaped. Her body trembled, instinct taking over. She clawed upward, nails tearing against the wood, her heart thundering so loudly she thought it might explode. Then, movement beside her. A soft groan. And then, a hand touched hers. Leo. They were buried together. Her mind flashed back, the party, the cake, the flames that wouldn't die, the sudden pain. Her mother's face, eyes wide in horror, mouth moving without sound. Then, blackness. Now, this. Leo, she gasped, coughing. Are you? I think we're alive, he croaked. But where's Mom? Maya's throat tightened. She couldn't turn her head fully, but she knew. The third body hadn't moved. Alina hadn't come back. And in that moment, buried alive, Maya understood something they hadn't dared imagine: they were meant to die. Someone had wanted them gone. All three. Only two of them had failed to stay dead. Above them, footsteps. Then, a thud. The sound of something metal hitting earth. Shovels. A voice. Male. Calm. Too calm. You said it would be quiet. A second voice replied. This one younger. Nervous. It was supposed to be. No signs of life. I checked. I swear. You didn't check well enough. Silence. Then a sigh. Tired. Dangerous. Open it. Below, Maya felt the first cracks of hope break through the terror. Someone was digging. The coffin jolted slightly as shovels pierced the dirt. We're here, she screamed, her voice ragged. Help us. Leo joined in, pounding with his fists. We're alive. Please. Above, the digging stopped. A long pause. Then the first voice again, cold as ice. No one else can know. And then, a gunshot. Maya flinched. Leo stopped breathing, not in death, but in shock. Another thud. The second man hit the ground. The shoveling began again, faster now, frantic. Someone was opening the grave, but not to save them. To finish the job. Just as the first crack of light broke through the coffin lid, Maya did the only thing she could, she pretended to be dead. Eyes shut. Breath held. The lid creaked open. A flashlight beam sliced through the darkness. A gloved hand reached in, checked Leo's pulse. Then hers. It hovered. Hesitated. She forced her heart to slow. A moment passed. Then the lid slammed shut again. Let's seal it. They're not going anywhere now. Footsteps. Fading. And just like that, the light was gone. Leo's breath was shallow. His body had stopped trembling, but his eyes were wide open now, fixed on the dark wood inches above them. They're going to kill us, he whispered. No, Maya said firmly. Her voice shook, but her will didn't. They think we're dead. That's our advantage. They'll come back. They'll check again. Then we need to be gone before they do. Time passed strangely underground, slower, colder, heavier. Maya lost count of how long they lay there. Minutes? Hours? But eventually, the ground shifted again. This time, the sounds were quieter. No voices. No metal. Just a low, soft scraping, like hands. Then, another noise. A click. Metal hitting the lock on the coffin. Then light, dim, flickering, red-tinted. The lid opened slowly. A man stood over them, face hidden behind a cloth mask, eyes dark and unreadable. He wore a trench coat. His gloves, deep crimson leather, stood out like blood on snow. Neither Leo nor Maya moved. The man looked down at them, and nodded. You're not supposed to be here, he said softly. But I'm not here to finish it. I'm here to give you 10 minutes. What? Maya gasped. Who are you? The man reached into his coat, pulled out a small crowbar and a flashlight. Names don't matter right now. Time does. 10 minutes, and then this place becomes a tomb again. Move. He dropped the tools into the coffin and turned away. Wait. Leo called out. Why are you helping us? The man paused. Because your mother didn't deserve what happened. And you, he looked back, eyes burning, were never supposed to wake up. Then he disappeared into the shadows. They climbed. It felt impossible. The earth was thick, wet, and unyielding. But adrenaline is stronger than dirt. With the crowbar, they broke through the softened wood above them. With trembling limbs, they pulled themselves through mud and roots and cold, choking fear. Finally, air. Night surrounded them like a blanket stitched from stars and silence. The cemetery stretched out before them, still, ancient, and empty. Except for 2 fresh graves. And one open one. They didn't look back. They ran. Barefoot. Cold. Alive. They reached the edge of the woods before Maya collapsed beside a tree, gasping. Her dress, the one she'd worn for her birthday, was torn and filthy. Leo dropped next to her, his face pale, skin bruised from the climb. "We need to find someone," he panted. "We need help." "No," Maya said. "No one can know." "Not yet." "Why not?" "Because someone killed us, Leo. Someone we knew. And if we run to the wrong person." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. Leo nodded slowly. "Then where do we go?" Maya looked up at the stars. They hadn't changed. Still shining. Still watching. To the only person Mom told us never to trust. They followed the river. It cut through the woods like a silver vein, winding past mossy stones and crooked trees. Maya led the way, barefoot and bleeding, her jaw clenched so tight it ached. Leo stumbled behind her, cold and silent, too drained to ask where they were going, or why his sister's face was set like a blade. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached it. A crooked house, half swallowed by fog and branches. Its windows were black. The door hung slightly open. It looked abandoned, but Maya knew better. He was home. He was always home. "You really want to go there?" Leo asked, his voice small. "You remember what Mom said about him?" Maya didn't answer. She stepped onto the creaking porch and knocked, 3 short raps, then 2 long. A pause. Then, from inside, "That knock doesn't belong to a dead girl." The door creaked open. A man stood there, tall, lean, in his late 40s. His hair was silver at the temples, and his eyes were the color of broken glass. One look, and it was clear, he hadn't been asleep. He'd been waiting. He looked at Maya. Then at Leo. Then, past them, as if expecting a third face. "She didn't make it," Maya said. "I know," the man replied. "Get inside." The warmth hit them like a slap, the smell of wood smoke, old whiskey, and something sharp beneath it, gun oil, maybe. The house was cluttered, but not messy. Everything had its place, maps, books, weapons. "Your Uncle Ronan," Leo said slowly, still not fully believing it. Ronan didn't answer. He poured 2 glasses of water and slid them across the table. "You're supposed to be dead." "So are you," Maya shot back. He chuckled, "just once." "Fair point." Maya leaned forward. "They killed us. At the party. The cake. Something was in it." "Poison?" Ronan asked. "Maybe. I don't know. But whoever it was, they were at the cemetery tonight. One of them was going to dig us up to finish the job. And someone else helped you out." Maya hesitated. "Yeah. A man in red gloves." That got Ronan's attention. His smile vanished. "What kind of gloves?" "Leather. Deep red." He didn't give a name. Just said we had 10 minutes. Ronan stood slowly and walked to a locked cabinet. He opened it and pulled out a faded photo, a surveillance still. It showed a blurry figure, face half covered. Red gloves. He slid the photo across the table. "That him?" Maya nodded. Ronan sat down hard. "Then you've got a much bigger problem than you think." Silence filled the room. Finally, Leo asked the question neither of them had dared to voice aloud. "Why would someone want us dead?" Ronan didn't answer right away. He poured himself a drink. The liquid shimmered like fire. Because your mother got too close to something. Something she was never supposed to see. And because the two of you are her loose ends. What did she see? Maya asked. Ronan looked at her, and for the first time, his eyes softened. Just a little. She didn't just fall in love with the wrong man. She ran from the wrong family. The kind that doesn't forgive. The kind that doesn't forget. A sound outside, a twig snapping. Ronan froze. His hand went to his gun. Go upstairs. Now. Maya and Leo didn't argue. As they climbed the stairs, Maya looked back just once. Uncle Ronan had turned off the lights. He stood by the window, backlit by moonlight, gun in hand. He wasn't expecting visitors. But someone had found them. The house upstairs was silent, but Maya's heart wasn't. She stood near the attic window, barely breathing, her eyes locked on the tree line beyond the property. Somewhere out there, someone was watching. Hunting. And they knew. Leo sat on the floor behind her, knees pulled to his chest. I don't trust him, he whispered. Uncle Ronan? Leo nodded. He knows more than he's saying. Maya didn't respond. She agreed, but the truth was, they had no one else. Not yet. Downstairs, 2 gunshots shattered the silence. Then nothing. Maya's blood went cold. She grabbed Leo by the wrist and crept down the staircase, stopping just before the final step. The room below was dimly lit, shadows dancing on the walls from the fireplace. Ronan stood over a body. Blood pooled at the man's feet, a figure dressed in black, face covered, weapon still clutched in one hand. Dead. Ronan didn't look shaken. He looked angry. You okay? Maya asked quietly. He nodded without turning around. One of theirs. A scout. Not the last. He kicked the man's body over and pulled a folded paper from his coat pocket. Crumpled. Dirty. Sealed with a broken wax crest, black ink smeared across the center. Found this in his jacket. He handed it to Maya. Inside was a letter. 2 words. Find her. Underneath, a symbol, a triangle within a circle, with 3 lines radiating outward like cracks in glass. Maya stared at it, heart pounding. What is this? A mark, Ronan said. From a group your mother used to work with. Before she ran. Before she had you. Leo stepped forward. She worked with them. Briefly. Then she tried to expose them. Why? Because she found out what they were doing. Maya looked up. What were they doing? Ronan's eyes darkened. Experiments. On children. On twins, especially. The silence stretched. Leo's voice broke. You think they were using us? Ronan looked between them, his expression unreadable. I think your mother knew they were planning to. The world shifted under Maya's feet. It wasn't just about revenge. Or fear. This was about purpose. About being hunted not just because they were alive, but because they were proof. Proof of something dark. And dangerous. And maybe, something not quite human. That night, while Leo slept curled up under a heavy blanket, Maya slipped into Ronan's study. Her hands moved fast, trained by years of sneaking snacks, stealing secrets from journals, and breaking digital locks when Mom wasn't looking. She found what she was looking for in the bottom drawer. A thick envelope. Marked, Alina/emergency/do not open. Inside, photos. One showed Maya and Leo, maybe 6 years old. Smiling. But behind them, blurry in the background, men in suits. Watching. Another showed their mother. At a lab. Crying. The last photo made Maya's throat close. It was an ultrasound. Twins. But labeled with different names. Different dates. She wasn't supposed to see that. She wasn't supposed to exist. She took the photos. The letter. And a small flash drive buried underneath. Then, without waking Leo or Ronan, she slipped out the back door and ran. Not away. Toward the only place she might find answers. The clinic where she was born. The clinic was still there. Hidden off a lonely highway, surrounded by weeds and trees that bent like they were hiding something. No sign out front. Just a rusted gate and a cracked concrete path leading to a building that looked like it hadn't been used in years. But Maya knew better. The front door was locked. Security cameras hung loose from the wall, dead, or pretending to be. She didn't try the main entrance. She went around the back. There, half buried under vines and moss, was the side door she remembered from a blurry dream, or maybe a memory. She used the crowbar, the one the man in red gloves left them. It opened on the third try. The smell hit her first, antiseptic and something else, old blood and forgotten fear. She crept through the hallways. Everything looked abandoned, faded posters about vaccinations, shattered computers, overturned chairs. But there were signs of recent life, boot prints in the dust, a styrofoam cup still half full on the reception desk, fresh drag marks on the linoleum. Someone had been here. Maybe still was. She followed the hallway until she found a door marked, restricted, Lab 3. Locked. Of course. But a small, blinking panel beside it told her all she needed to know. It wasn't dead tech. This place had power. She used the flash drive Ronan had hidden in the envelope. Plugged it in. The panel flickered. Clicked. The door unlocked. Inside, silence. A cold room filled with machines, most powered down. But in the center stood a single monitor, glowing softly. Attached to it, a cabinet of metal drawers, each labeled with numbers and initials. Maya walked over, heart pounding. She didn't recognize the codes, except one. M.L11A. She opened the drawer. Inside, a thick black folder. And a glass vial, empty, labeled Trial 6, reanimation/sibling link. Her hands trembled as she opened the file. Photos. Charts. X-rays. 2 infants. Identical. No names. But the notes told her everything. Subject L and Subject M were part of an experimental trial to test neural synchronization between twins. Subject M demonstrated accelerated recovery. Subject L exhibited cognitive spikes only in Subject M's presence. Reanimation unlikely without pair proximity. She read it again. And again. They had died before. They had been brought back before. And somehow, it was only possible together. She dropped the file. Suddenly, behind her, a voice. Looking for your origin story? Maya spun. A woman stood at the doorway. Black blazer, blonde hair in a tight bun, surgical gloves. Calm. Too calm. Who are you? Maya demanded. The woman smiled. Call me Dr. Ash. Or don't. You won't be calling anyone when this is over. Maya ran. Back down the hallway, heart hammering, mind racing. Ash didn't chase, she didn't need to. Because halfway to the exit, 2 men stepped into her path. Armed. Waiting. You shouldn't have come here alone, one of them said. But Maya was already moving. She ducked, slipped between them, tore down the opposite hallway. Every door looked the same, until she found one that read. Storage, Genetic Archive. She slammed the door behind her, locked it, and flipped the table over to block it. Then turned and saw. A row of sealed tanks. Inside, forms. Unmoving. Floating. One of them looked like. She stepped closer. It was her face. But wrong. Not dead. Not alive. Younger. Paler. Slightly, off. Then the tank blinked. The thing inside looked at her. The thing inside the tank smiled. Not just a twitch. A real, knowing, human smile. Maya stumbled backward, heart hammering in her chest. Her breath fogged the glass as she stared, unable to look away. The girl in the tank looked exactly like her. Not similar. Not just a twin. Identical. Same scar above the left eyebrow. Same mole under the jawline. Even the chipped tooth she'd gotten falling off her bike when she was 7, it was there. But this version of her was younger. Maybe 10. Maybe less. Then the label caught her eye. M10C/obsolete/stasis hold. Her knees buckled. Obsolete. Like an outdated machine. Like a broken part. She looked around. The other tanks, 8 in total, held other versions. Slightly different builds. One with longer hair. One that seemed taller. One whose eyes were open, glassy and dead. One tank was cracked. Empty. And suddenly, a horrifying thought struck her. What if I'm not the original? What if she had died before, and she didn't even know it? The door rattled behind her. Voices outside. Get the sedatives, Dr. Ash wants her intact. Maya tore her gaze away from the tanks and grabbed the nearest chair, smashing it into the emergency case on the wall. A fire axe fell out. She turned to the console next to the tanks. Dozens of buttons. A red one, flickering faintly. Purge. No idea what it would do. No time to guess. Footsteps. Closer. She pressed it. Sirens screamed. Lights flashed red. And the tanks began draining. All of them. The fluid hissed and spiraled down tubes as alarms filled the room. The clones inside, if that's what they were, began to move. Jerky, unnatural. Some convulsed. One began to claw at the glass, skin bubbling like it was melting. Maya didn't wait to see what happened next. She swung the axe at the blocked door, smashed through the lock, and burst out into chaos. The hallway was strobing red. Scientists were shouting. Security scrambled. She ran for the back exit. A woman grabbed her arm, not Ash, someone in a lab coat, eyes wide with fear. You don't understand, if you shut them all down, it destabilizes you too. You're connected. Maya slammed the axe into the woman's shoulder without thinking. The scream chased her down the hallway. She made it into the woods before sunrise. Every muscle burned. Her head felt like it was splitting open. Thoughts jumbled, memories colliding like broken glass. Leo's face. Her mother's laugh. That song from the party. A voice whispering inside her mind, Subject M does not retain full memory of prior cycles. What did that mean? Cycles. How many times had she died? How many times had she come back? She reached Ronan's cabin just after dawn. The door was ajar. Smoke rose from the chimney. Inside, Ronan stood at the sink, washing blood off his hands. Leo sat at the table. Silent. Pale. A cut on his lip. Ronan turned. His eyes met Maya's. You went to the clinic, he said. Not a question. I saw her, Maya whispered. I saw me. Ronan nodded slowly. Then walked over and pulled a dusty folder from the top shelf of the bookcase. He handed it to her. On the cover, Project Echo, ML Series/Cycle 11. She opened it. Inside were timelines. Failures. Medical notes. And a log. The fire crackled in Ronan's cabin. No one spoke for a long time. Maya sat on the floor, her back against the wall, the Cycle 11 folder still open in her lap. Leo stared into the flames, a distant look in his eyes like something inside him had unplugged. She finally whispered, "We're not real, are we?" Ronan lit a cigarette, then immediately crushed it out like he regretted it. "You're real. You feel. You think. You bleed. But you weren't born like others." "Not exactly." "Then how?" He didn't look at her when he said it. "Your mother helped build the program." Silence fell like ash. Maya couldn't breathe for a second. What? She didn't mean to. Not at first. She was a biogeneticist. Recruited out of university. Told she was helping create synthetic organ backups for emergency transplants. Then they started asking about memory transfer. Neural mirroring. Twinning. Leo turned. And we were the result? Ronan hesitated. No. You came later. When she ran. After she saw what they did to the first batch. She tried to hide us, Maya said, connecting the dots. Ronan nodded. She didn't just run. She stole you. From the program. 2 unfinished prototypes that hadn't gone through full testing. Leo swallowed hard. So we're glitches. No, Ronan finally met their eyes. You're the only ones they couldn't control. A knock. 3 slow taps on the front door. Maya and Leo froze. Ronan drew his weapon. Get in the back room. Now. But Maya didn't move. Something about the knock. It was slow. Steady. Familiar. She stepped toward the door and pulled it open before Ronan could stop her. A girl stood there. Her hair was shorter, her clothes cleaner. She was maybe 13, older than Maya had ever been told she was. Her skin was pale. Her eyes, though, her eyes were exactly the same. Maya, she said. We need to talk. Ronan raised his gun. Don't, the girl said. You know what I am. Echo 0, he muttered. I thought you were dead. The girl stepped inside, eyes calm, like she owned the room. They tried to kill me too. Just like her. She looked at Maya. But I woke up first. Maya's throat was dry. You're the first. The girl nodded. The original. Not born. Built. Leo stepped closer. You look like her. She looks like me. Echo 0 smiled faintly. They copied me 12 times. Killed me 9. Rewrote me 3. You too, were the final version. Why are you here? Ronan demanded. Because they're activating Cycle 12. Everyone froze. Maya whispered, but, we're Cycle 11. Echo 0 nodded. And they think this one's going to work. No emotions. No memories. No history. Just obedience. Perfect twins. Like you, but better. Better? Leo's voice cracked. Echo 0 looked at him, and for the first time, her voice wavered. They didn't make you to live. They made you to replace. A long pause. Then a whisper from Maya. Replace who? Echo 0 turned to her. They're real children. The ones they lost. The ones they couldn't accept were gone. She reached into her coat and pulled out a photo. 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Maybe 9 years old. Smiling. Holding hands in front of a school gate. They died in a fire. High clearance officials. The grief almost broke them. So they funded something that could give them back what they lost. Leo's hands shook. We're ghosts of someone else's kids. No, Echo said. You're more than that now. Then she stepped forward and took Maya's hand. There's something inside you. Buried. Locked. A code. A fail-safe. Maya blinked. A fail-safe for what? For the end, Echo whispered. If Cycle 12 wakes, everything before it gets erased.